He back. It's wartime. Pain on my face, it's time to gear up. I hear they talking fly about my king, it's time to leer up. They done woke up a lion, ain't no stopping when I'm stepping. It's too late now, it's rapping in my jeans, no need for guessing. You flexing, while we repping that Elohim to the fullest. Loaded clip, man, we shoot from the hip, I dare you to pull it. These bullets is encrypted with scripture, call it the truth. That'll kill a lie in a second, but it's meant to say to you. You see the murder they committing in the booth. These musical crime lords with no verifiable proof, they sterilizing the youth. You throw your life away, give all of your time away if they verify you with blue checks.
Welcome to another episode of Men Can We Talk. This is episode 4. Ooh, we at 4, man. We at 4. Okay. So yeah, man, y'all know what it is, man. I'm your boy Anthony Ray.
Yaakov Malek Bay.
And it's the big brew, Adriel Maccabee. What it do? What it brew, baby?
The biggest up. Hey, man. So y'all know what we about, man. We back with another one. Y'all know what we like to do. We just like to have a good conversation, man. If y'all been paying attention, man, episode 3 was a big one. We had our brother Facts only on, my man DJ Status.
Nice.
And my man DJ Zoo Hendrix. And man, it was good. So y'all be looking forward to part 2 of that. We got a couple other brothers that's gonna come on and we gonna talk some more hip hop, man. You know, that's a big subject for us. So y'all continue to look forward to that.
How long was that? How long did that go?
It was about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
About an hour and a half. So definitely needs a part 2. We got some brothers that's gonna come on. But y'all just continue to look forward to that. But I just want to give a quick shout out to my dog T Whitey and 6 O'Clock Studios. That's where we're posted up at today.
Yeah,
so if y'all got any recording needs, any graphic needs, y'all know where to come at, man. Just come over here to 6 O'Clock Studios, downtown Gainesville, Florida. He got an entertainment school over here, man. You know, my boy, he can teach you a lot of stuff about social media, marketing, all that, man. The business side of music. So hit up my man T Whitey on Facebook, on Instagram. Follow the studio page at 6 O'Clock Stu on Facebook for all of your recording needs. But today, man, I'm just ready to get it in, man. So today we're gonna be on another topic that concerns our community. Y'all know that's what we're about, man. We're about uplifting the community, and we just want to have some conversation today. So today we're gonna be on black politics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know we finna go in. So I just kind of want to start like when you, Big Ark, man. When you hear that term, the black politics, what's the first thing that even come to your mind?
Bull crap. I'm being straight, man. Like,
unfortunately, yeah.
Black politics has never worked for us. Politics in general has never worked for us because the way the system is set up, you can't put a person in there in no office, whether it's local, state, or federal level, that's going to put a real focus on the black community. Because when they do, they only let them go so far. Because we only allowed to have so much. And black politics, I believe, the best way for us to really dive in the political arena is to create our own politicians, create our own political system outside of this government.
So you don't think the whole Republican, Democrat thing would even...
Well, that's 2 wings on the same bird.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's 2 wings on the same dragon, man. You listen to what they call right wing, left wing.
Yeah, that's real.
They just 2 wings on the same dragon. They moving the same dragon.
It's a vulture.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It's eating at the fabric of America, man. Yeah. What are when you said have our own politicians?
Mm-hmm.
So a separate political party.
Yeah, our own political system.
You know how that's always worked out.
Yeah, but and that's the thing. Like,
but I agree with you.
At some point, see, this is what I believe the black problem is. The biggest problem is we scared of operating outside of the system because we're taught that the system is what provides for us. Mm-hmm. And when I say the system, I'm meaning our everyday jobs, law enforcement, government in a whole. You know, we work within the constructs or the parameters of the way this system is made, and it's not made for us. Somehow we got to be able to open a door, kick a wall down, and move outside of that box and do what works for us. And what works for, and doing that is us truly working together. Like, when you start bringing in bartering systems amongst one another, bringing in economic wealth, but not the wealth that we think of. Now, we can't think on the grand scheme of everybody being billions and millionaires, right, because you fall right back into the hand, right back into that dragon. But we got to look at a system that's going to give us sustainability. The people who get rich don't look to be rich. A need is being met, and that need just so happens to exceed what's needed.
I agree with you in regards to another, a separate way of operating. Mm-hmm. Black politics. I hate that word black.
Yeah.
I think the sad part of what we've always dealt with is that when one of us steps up and goes against the grain with momentum, they send one of us to shortstop that brother or that sister's grind, mm-hmm, because they know they can't come do it themselves. Mm-hmm. So that right there tells me we dealing with a weak people. Mm-hmm. When you got to send someone else to deal with me, mm-hmm, you can't come deal with me on your
facts. And
also that means is you have a deceptive agenda in regards to how you control government and politics as a whole. Mm-hmm. We would be way more effective on a local level before we'd ever be effective on a national level. But the problem with the local level is you got people who look like us who are gatekeepers
to the people, to the powers that be.
Right. So it's like, unless, like you said, developing and rearing our own politicians, unless we doing that, and then the black community, mm-hmm, is cut up in so many different pies within itself. Mm-hmm. Like, we're not homogenous when it comes to economics and politics. So you got the fraternities, you got the sororities, you got the clergy. You know what I'm saying? They all got their own agenda.
Mm-hmm. And none of the agenda is for the people in whole.
For those who are suffering for real, like who are dealing with the day-to-day struggles of, making a dollar, mm-hmm, so yeah, they're detached. I talked to a brother not too long ago. I won't say his name because I pray you get him on the show at one point. Mm-hmm. He spoke about local politics and how, mm-hmm, more effective we could be on a local level, and I totally agree with that. It's just, and I've never voted for anything. Mm-hmm. I've never voted for whatever, never ever, mm-hmm, and just because of my disdain towards the structure of the system as a whole. But man, the brother put a point. Local government is powerful. We can potentially do a lot.
But you gotta, you have to make local government your own.
Facts.
Like, we don't even stand against the violence that we have in our own neighborhood. We don't. We almost perpetuate it. We almost push it. Like, if you don't really speak to the foolishness, man, like really speak to it. You know, you got guys doing things out of necessity, granted, you know, robbing, stealing, whatever they need to do to survive out of necessity. And we may not we don't hold that person accountable.
We don't.
We don't hold that person. The dope boys come through and they throw a barbecue, feed the people once or twice, and they sit on a pedestal. We still not holding them accountable.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, so, in order for local government to work I'm just being straight up, for it to work for us, boy, you got to get the wickedness out of the camp. And that's just point, it's real. Like, we got to get to a point where, are we really going to stand for what's right? Because we've been letting what's wrong guide us in our thinking for so long.
Or kind of minimizing it.
Yeah,
Making it okay just to get to the next stage, which...
Because I used to always... I grew up in the dope boy era. I grew up in that. So I never... Man, I can't stand no dope boy. I never was that. Dope boys fed me.
Fact.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But as you grow and you elevate, as much as they fed you, look how much they took away. They took away from you. You know, I got a family member finna come home soon. He raised me. But I just had to spend 15 years without it. His son just spent 15 years without it. His mama just spent 15 years without it. So as much as you gave me in your short amount of time, look how much I lost from you. Like, I didn't need you to feed me. You did what you had to do. But I needed you.
Yeah.
So we got to start holding our family accountable, like holding the people
in the community
accountable.
Because we don't know how powerful you are when it comes to politics.
Yeah,
we really don't get the big picture. Elite white males who run and operate and lead law enforcement and mayor positions and those, they know how powerful we are in politics. And I'm gonna say something that might run people crazy, but there's no difference between Larry Hoover, Jeff Fort, and Martin Luther King.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Politics. Both Larry Hoover and Jeff Fort moved people to the voting booths.
Facts.
Yeah.
Larry Hoover moved thousands of people to the voting booth, bruh. That's why he's in prison. Everything else they said on him is just conspiracies. Jeff Fort moved people to the voting booth. Matter of fact, they assisted local politicians with local voting, local government. Martin Luther King moved people politically. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So that's and he wore a suit and tie. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we don't realize how powerful we actually are politically. And that's because we don't really grasp the disconnect that has been created by this wicked oppressor with his ability to divide and conquer. Because the whole concept of a republic comes from indigenous people. The scriptures talk about Moses choosing people from amongst the people to lead the people. Right. That's a republic. The Constitution starts out with we the people. Who them people is? The ones that deliver your food and drive your buses and grow, you know what I'm saying, and hand you the working people. That's the people.
That's why policing today don't work.
That's why, exactly.
That's exactly.
They don't. Oh man.
Because the people that police neighborhoods don't live in the neighborhood. They don't know know the faces.
And if they from the neighborhood, they've been watered down in their thinking the way.
I was watching the documentary yesterday, and it was telling the story of how these two Algerian former slaves, were walking in South Carolina. They had traveled by boat, and they walked by land to South Carolina. And when they got there, they were speaking a language they didn't understand. The way they were dressed, the people thought they were Moors, but they wasn't speaking the Moor language. And the police stopped them. Like, what y'all doing? And my nephew asked me, like, why the police stop them? I said, because that's what they supposed to do. I said, if police like they supposed to, they know the people in the neighborhood. So if they see a unfamiliar face, what you doing around these parts? What you here for? I was like, that's why we have these issues now in our neighborhood with people coming in, robbing the cars, you know what I'm saying? Because there's people walking around the neighborhood that don't belong in the neighborhood. I was like, but if police did their job like they supposed to, they know the people in the neighborhood. And that's how policing really works. Because then I ain't got to call in and take you to jail. I can just, my man, what you got going on? You know your mama know you wouldn't be doing this out here. Take your stuff, go on back to the house.
Yeah. When you know the community, then you have a rapport. You can't just stop somebody for no reason, but yeah, when you know the people in the community, it changes everything.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
So what's your thoughts on staying there? What's your thoughts on, I know this topic has been all over the place, but what's your thoughts on the defunding the police?
Hell no. Boy. Listen, if they defund the police, who's going to protect the neighborhood?
It's funny, what's the show, man? The show, The Shy.
Uh-huh.
And their depiction of what it would possibly look like was the people in the community came together to solve the issues. I didn't really agree with the whole, like, it ain't no police nowhere. But it was like, okay, so-and-so, there was this couple that they were always fighting all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so anytime they would get in this fight, there would be two people from the community go to their house. The man would talk with the man, the woman talk with the woman. And it was a bad situation. I think if I remember right, one of them ended up getting killed. Either the man or the woman.
And there was no police.
It was
the community dealing with the problem.
And it was just all these issues that were going on, and the problem became so big. There was like all these different problems, and they didn't have enough people who were willing and able to go and deal with all of these problems. So, like I say, I wouldn't necessarily agree with no police whatsoever, but I do believe that there are some problems in the community that we can deal with, or we should be able to deal with, if we have people who are trained to deal with mental health problems. Mm-hmm. Someone having a mental health episode, mm-hmm. that could go, that's in the community, and say, hey, let me sit down with this person.
But see, that's why I don't think you defund the police, you reallocate the funds.
And I think that's where it all kind of get mixed up at. I think a lot of people, when they hear defund the police,
they take away money.
We just don't have no police. Mm-hmm. I think defund the police is, let's just reallocate the funds, mm-hmm. to different things. Not necessarily we just want all the police off the streets.
Yeah,
I don't think that's what
the problem. And the whole reality is, police and we forgot what the police is supposed to be doing.
Yeah, straight up.
Law enforcement, at its roots and its origin, mm-hmm. was for the purpose of protecting the people from a tyrannical government. Well, our government is tyrannical, and the police ain't protecting us from the government.
Well,
hold on. Let me finish my thought. There are a lot of officers. There are a lot of police officers who are constitutionalists, and that's what we need. You need people who. I took an oath twice to uphold the Constitution of the United States. And if you know what the Constitution of the United States is about, then it is an honor to work in that capacity as a military personnel or law enforcement. But too many times we have law enforcement officers who abuse their power. So defunding the police that whole concept is coming from people who don't like the police type thing. Well, the police come out and they patrol the community, but the problem is black and brown communities aren't owned by the people who live in the communities. These aren't our community. These are. I'm only talking about the streets. I don't talk about nothing else. No middle class. Yeah. We don't control our community. These are government housing agencies. So the police can come in there and they can do whatever they want. You don't own the property. You don't have a title. You don't have a deed. You don't pay taxes. You're on government assistance. So what do you expect?
Man, they doing what they supposed to do because at the root of policing is slave catching.
Right. Yeah. So they doing what they supposed to do. Police the master's property. Yeah. And that's what they doing in our neighborhoods. Yeah. So like when you don't own it, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing. Yeah. And the whole idea of defunding, you're right. People are like, we'll take away the money. No, we need police. You know what I'm saying? I mean, seriously, there are thousands of calls across the nation that police respond to that no one else will respond to. You need them. You know, so the whole
because they're trained. They're
they're quote unquote trained.
And see, that's why I said to reallocate the money. Like, you may not necessarily need to get a person out of the neighborhood to deal with mental health. Just train the cop to deal with mental health.
Well, they do that, but it ain't working.
It ain't enough training.
What's happening right now in the county jails? We speak.
Facts.
They beat that boy brakes off, bro.
But see, you know what happened?
You know what I'm saying?
Them guys in the jails, you're not trained for that.
They have critical intervention training.
That critical intervention, CIT.
It's like a 40-hour class.
That's it. I've been through it.
Right, me too.
It's not enough.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to take funds and really make extensive training out of these situations. Because 40-hour training, and then you probably have to do a recertification on it.
Facts.
Which only an 8-hour training.
Facts.
If it's an 8-hour training.
Right.
That ain't enough training.
Not at all.
Not to deal with some of the...
Because this young brother was arrested. He's documented in the system of having a mental illness. Mm-hmm. He was having a mental breakdown. And in the time span of law enforcement responding, Molly was seen in his vicinity when he stood up. Mm. So the police forgot all about the mental illness, forgot all about his breakdown, and arrested him for the Molly, took him to the jail, and then went downhill from there, and he ended up getting the brakes beat off his behind, man. That's crazy. So you're right. The training is ludicrous. I've been through the training. It's play. It's acting. It ain't really, I'm not saying that a lot of officers who have CIT training and correctional officers don't use it to its full capacity. There are. But the reality of it is,
it's not enough, man.
It's not enough. And here we are complaining about what the government and the police should do. When the whole reality is, don't defund the police. Matter of fact, fund the police. Mm-hmm. And it's our responsibility to campaign inside the walls of our communities and hold these black professionals that go to these universities and campuses and work all day long on these campuses in psychological and psychiatry platform. Bring your expertise back to your community. You know what I'm saying? You live in a middle-class black community, but you have nothing to do with the community in regards to, I'm speaking general, I'm sure there's some that do. You have nothing to do with the community in regards to therapy, mental illness, and being part of small group programs. Someone who is a psychologist or a psychiatrist can lend their services to local DCF agencies, so kids agencies, to where it's court ordered for this family to get counseling. Mm-hmm. There happens to be a counselor who's 5 houses down from you. Bro. You ain't got to send that person on the bus pass way across town to, the white side of town where now you're dealing with other elements and the situation never gets
I think them people want to get paid.
And I just want to say that. Yeah. And see, that goes into the statement I made first about us building our own politics, building our own nation. Because if we build up our own community, your job, your function in the community has nothing to do with the money you make.
Facts. Shouldn't.
It has.
Right.
It's what you're giving to your people.
That's right.
See, we've lost sight of that concept in the whole. We want to do what is convenient and profitable for us, but not what makes the nation whole.
I heard Dr. Claude Anderson say, black folk are the only folk in this country who are psychologically homeless.
Ooh.
Homeless, brother. You right. What you said was powerful. We get up and we go to work and we serve other communities. You know, kudos to those of us who see this and can still lend their skills that they went to college for to benefit our people. But the majority of our professionals, you know, we're servicing other ethnicities outside of our community. And so every time we say we as a people, every time we say nation, you know this, we don't know who we are. We know, but we don't know. You know what I mean? And so that right there is that's the first challenge right there, getting us to see each other as more valuable, more precious than we see any other ethnicity, because all other ethnicities do that.
But we'd be racist when we do that.
Whatever, I'm a racist then.
Hey, look at this. So think about, wasn't it like that in scripture? You look at
yes, I already know what you're going.
When with Jesus and Pilate.
Mm-hmm.
When the people were making the accusations against him, and
aren't you the king of the Jews?
So, but when Pilate was like, "This really ain't our problem.
Come on,
this
man.
ain't our problem.
This your problem.
That's y'all problem. Y'all deal with your own people."
But this going back to what you said,
Right.
what kind of nation you dealing with? We was weak as a nation then, and we knew we couldn't put this man to death on our own.
Fact. That's cold.
Crazy.
Damn, when you think about that.
We knew we couldn't put that. We ain't want that blood on our hands, but we ain't want him around either at the same time.
And that has happened over and over again.
Crazy.
Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Assata Shakur, Mutulu Shakur. Every time Geronimo Pratt, whenever our people step up and they take that, the referee, shh, quiet, boy, don't do that, boy. Don't wake up Massa. Don't rock the boat, because we put our own people out there, man.
Yeah, and let them send them to the slaughter by themselves.
We don't protect our
instead
people.
of protecting them. I remember, man, so this before I came into my knowledge, I know, I was heavy strong behind Obama. And that was my first thought. I wasn't thinking about him doing no work. My first thought was, we got to protect him, because they going to try to kill him. That was my first thought. Like,
unbeknownst to us.
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
Yeah. But that was my first thought.
Fact.
Like, man,
Yeah.
if this man do any real work, we got to protect this man.
Yeah.
Because they going to try to kill him.
And that's how we should respond. Initially. I was excited to see, him in that position.
Mm-hmm.
Only because of what I already know of my people.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw him in that position, it revved me up. You know what I'm saying? It was exciting. And then I had to check myself. And I just kind of caught myself. Because you can easily get caught up in the emotional part of it.
Facts.
I saw jokers falling out, crying, like, oh, Michael Jackson, Obama this, Obama that. They just crying and emotional, and the black president, da, 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 da. And for 8 years, the only thing we required him to do was be black.
He played the image.
Golly.
But he didn't do the part. That's how I look at it, man. Like, he couldn't do the work. He played the image. He was black as hell now. Straight up. Drinking beer on the White House. Like, that's a nigga right there. Like, he was out there all the way.
You know what that was, bro? That was 8 years of a minstrel, bro. That's what that was. That was 8 years of a mockery, bro. Obama phones.
Yeah, Obamacare.
Come on, man. Like, we so. Oh man.
So that thought process, man, I think if we decide to move in that arena in that political arena, in this system, we have to champion our own person. And we have to protect them and not let this person get in every sector. Like, if we gonna get an alderman or a councilman, we gotta champion this councilman to the point of this councilman know he really works for the people, which we'll never do. I don't think, because
no, we won't. We won't do it. It won't happen. It will never happen. Black people, so-called black people in this country, will never do what we're supposed to do politically because we don't do what we're supposed to do economically. You cannot have any influence in politics if your ass is broke.
Facts. Because the whole point, every time a person runs for office, all they running is fundraisers.
They need money.
They need
and
that money.
We too busy putting our money into corporations and establishments that have no desire to see our communities prosper. I know I've said this before, and all y'all know this. I'm gonna say it just to put it out there. The black church. If the black church was doing what it was supposed to do, the government would have shut the black church down decades ago. But the black church is doing.
No, it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, it's doing what it's supposed to do under the government vise. And so here's the sad part. All over the country, every Sunday morning, our people are doing what?
Getting ready for church.
But they go to church and do what?
Give money.
Pay tithes. All right? I want to say billions of dollars. I ain't going to say millions. Billions of dollars every Sunday morning across the country. What do these black pastors do with that money? They take that money and they put it into white banking institutions. And what do these white banking institutions do? They take that money and they loan it out to white-owned corporate construction companies and financiers. And what do those white-owned corporate companies do? They come right back in the black community and gentrify the neighborhood and buy the property. You know what I'm saying? So we perpetuate our own poverty. And it's an issue that only until those who were responsible for organizing and moving that money, come clean, it's just going to continue to fester. So you can't have any influence. You can't have no success in politics if you're not back with money. It ain't happening because you can't influence policies. You can't. And don't get it wrong. The movements within law enforcement, Department of Justice, is controlled by money. You know what I mean? Mandatory and mandatory sentencing is about profit. Who gets a black suspect, white suspect, or inmate, they get different sentences for a reason because of the communities they come from.
What you say have anything to do with something that you always talk about with us being classified as black, meaning dead.
This is politics. Yep.
Politics. Yep. Would you say that has anything to do with it because we're classified as being black?
Yeah, because within politics, criminal justice, Department of Justice, Supreme Court cases, they all function under colorable law. They don't deal with the real you. They deal with your political status. So as long as we talking about we black and we African American and all that, these are the labels and these are the labels and the titles that have been, these are colonial titles. You know what I mean? So they don't see us, they see what's on paper. And they're trained to function based on that status. So yeah, as long as we're responding to, I'll try not to get too deep, as long as you're responding to your name, period. As long as you're still answering to that name in all capital letters, you're responding to a government entity, a controlled government entity. It's a person. It's a corpse. It's a corpse. It's a corporation. It's dead. It has no value. So they see it as a income leveraging potential entity. So yeah, everything we do is based on class status, political status. That's why you won't get the results that you think you should get. our dumbasses go out here and march and protest. You don't see no white folks marching and white people get killed by the police too. They get shot by the police too. It's hundreds and hundreds, but they won't put that on the news because they want you to think it's just. But it happens all the time. The only difference is them folks, they got money behind how they deal with policies and procedures. We don't. So we're subject to the dead body in the street covered with a white sheet, picked up, the morgue, the officer in protective custody, you know what I'm saying? The court case, waiting for the news, all of a sudden not guilty. Because they're making all the decisions. You put some bread behind that, it'd be a whole different story. You know, so yeah, black class status, that has everything to do with the way we're treated. Because we keep, that's like 4 people standing in front of me and their backs are turned to me, and I call out, "Hey, stupid!" Whoever turns around.
It's stupid.
So as long as you talking about you black, you gonna keep treated like you dead. It's that simple, man. And we gotta stop answering to it. So, and back to the gatekeepers, that's who really got their foot on our neck. The ones that, do the jig and they do the dance for the white folks who run and control the system. And it all boils down to fraternities and sororities and Masonic affiliations. Because that ain't got nothing to do with the well-being of our people. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with that. We out here naked on our own. Just subjected to the decisions that are made without us behind closed doors. Which all those decisions ultimately affect us down here, out here in the community. You know what I'm saying? So,
what's y'all thoughts on the Black Panther Party?
I love it. Hey man, I ain't gonna front. For us, born during that time, I've been a Panther all day long. I ain't gonna front. Like I am one of my favorite heroes is Fred Hampton. Yeah. Like straight up and down, like I said if we had a leader that was mixed with Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, and though we had one person with those three, a person who can move the people, a person who was warrior-minded, and a person who was charismatic. Like that's like I pray that for me. Like if I had that in me, boy, that's a monster. That's what. Think like this, right? Fred Hampton was 21 years old when they killed him. Look at what the work he did by 20. Dog, we got 21-year-olds right now who ain't never had a job. This man moved the whole nation. He brought so much attention to himself, they had to kill him. Look, let's keep it gangster. They didn't go with the other leaders of the Black Panther like they went in Fred. Like, that man, he brought something that no one could do. He went to where it really hurt him at. He showed economic status. I don't care about you black or being white or Latino. Nigga, you poor rich.
That's why he was a threat. All right.
You poor rich.
Yeah, and he had all ethnicities in one room.
In one room.
White, Puerto Rican, black. It doesn't matter. You're right. He was all about people.
In one of the most racist times in the country.
Yep. He showed the potency of what it means to have solidarity amongst the ethnicities, man. That's why he was a threat. You're right.
Cause I don't care about your color now. How can we make this money work for us? Cause you poor just like I'm poor.
Yeah, and that's what really, it definitely is not about color. We know that. it's about the level of consciousness that a people could potentially be activated to. Like that's the God power that we all have, consciousness. You know what I'm saying? And once you get, I know a lot of white folks, you know what I'm saying, who are sincerely spiritual, who are sincerely, genuinely conscious.
Mm-hmm.
But they're in the same boat as poor blacks.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing that this ruling elite Zionist system wants is for that level of consciousness to affect people to a point of no return. They don't want that. Mm-hmm. They don't want middle class white women reading Sold on Ice by Eldridge Cleaver.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want, you know what I'm saying? They don't want that level of consciousness amongst. They don't want that, because if they do, it's over. It's over, man. And that's why camaraderie, dialogue, talking about these issues amongst all the people who are connected to these issues is so important. Mm-hmm. It's so important because we finally have a space where we eliminate the perpetrator of the divide and conquer method. We finally got them, the molester. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Those who push pedophilia, those who push human trafficking, those who push this foolishness, man. Mm-hmm. We get rid of them. We get rid of the gatekeepers, the coons, the ones who have their pockets lined just to keep that position. Come out here and smile at you every time it's time to get a vote, but you don't never see them no other time. Like, you get rid of them people, man. And that's what Fred Hampton, you know, that's what he represented. That's why. And it ain't that they assassinated him. It's not like they ambushed. Man, the dude was asleep.
Yeah, like, they couldn't even take the man while he was woke. They knew what they was dealing with.
I don't know how many rounds, but it was hundreds.
It was a lot.
In his body while he slept. That's how weak and sick the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, with his homosexual behind, that's how wicked that system is. You murdered that man while he was sleeping, bruh. And there's so much proof, there's so much evidence that, I don't even know if they had a search warrant. It's just the reality of the fact that they knew where he was, the time they picked to do it, who was in the home, nobody else got killed.
Nobody else got killed.
He was in the bed with his woman. If that ain't systematic, man, come on, man. Man.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, those things, like, when you got to look at our leaders, man. Our supposed leaders that have been set in front of us. It's always when they make that, they bridge that gap between the Negro and the other nations to see that there's similarities in the same plight. With Malcolm. When Malcolm went to Mecca and he realized, hold on, B, this ain't about black and white no more.
Right.
It's really, again, about who's poor and who's rich. How we gonna change that? Even with Martin. It's when Martin realized that, let's hit the pockets is what's killing us. Like, we got to get economic wealth. We got to get economic status here. When those things start happening, now we dealing with a different monster. Let's go to Yahshua, whom y'all wrongly called Jesus. He wasn't assassinated for no good works. He wasn't even assassinated for being the king of the Jews. Mm. That man was killed simply because he was destroying the economic construct of the powers that be at the time.
Yeah, politics.
The last thing Martin Luther King was working on, his last endeavor, what he was involved in at the time, he coined it the Poor People's Campaign.
Yep.
That's what it was called.
Facts.
It wasn't called Black Liberation. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't called for colored people. It was the Poor People's Campaign. And
facts.
You know how many poor white folks there was in the 60s who were illiterate and unemployed, living on dirt farms, like, you know what I'm saying, all over the country? That brother was not like Martin Luther King does not represent exclusively black people. Nope. And that's what's sad, and I hate it when I hear white folks who, like, on new broadcasters, Martin Luther King. You had Martin Luther King, and I had a dream and all that. Man, that man was about solidarity amongst the people.
And that from the gate.
From the gate.
That was his stance. Now Malcolm, he was for black people. He tell you straight up who I'm from.
Yeah.
Martin, it was just, I just want to be equal. I want everybody to be on equal playing field.
Well, I don't think, I agree with you, 100%, I do. But I don't think we get bits and pieces of Malcolm fed to us. And the reason why I say this is because I ran across a lot of information in regards to his transition out of prison. Mm-hmm. Well, in prison, he morphed in prison. You know what I mean? The cocoon was broke. He flew out of there with wings. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of what you hear him say is for separatism. Mm-hmm. But that's what you're supposed to do in getting your house in order.
Yeah, you've cleaned your house up first.
Right. So
and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying
I know you're not.
He was a complete separatist. What I'm saying is he knew what his stance was. Like, we can't help nobody until we help ourselves.
Right.
Like, you get on the airplane, when they give you instructions, hey, that mask drop down, put the mask on yourself first before you even help your kids.
Yeah. Well, you ain't no good.
You ain't no good. You got to fix yourself before you can help anybody else.
And what this devil hates the most, and I'm not talking about the spiritual devil, I'm talking about the devil that's walking around the world now. What he hates the most, he's physical and you can kill him.
Facts.
What he hates the most is honesty, integrity. He hates it. And the nature of our people is honesty, it's integrity. See, we don't do people like what's been done to us. And when Malcolm verbally said that he's no longer with the nation and he's devising a new, and he realized and he came into the knowledge of, and he went to Mecca and he saw all the races of people coming together, like, that's what these devils don't like, because what that shows is it shows growth. And if you haven't had a chance, order the Larry Hoover's Growth and Development. Read his book. You know what I'm saying? Like, our people are not what's being fed to you through the television. We only study our people through the lenses. Man, study Larry Hoover. I watched a documentary on Jeff Fort, and it was one of those crime.
Yeah,
and the way they talk, it's just, they made him sound like a wicked devil. You know what I mean? Like, they just, and murder, and there was so many drugs and killing, and he had gun confiscations. He was training, and they had a fort. And I'm like, that's how they put it out there. So what we do is we see that, and we feed off of that, and then we completely have a disdain towards our own people.
But see how you gotta look. You know what you gotta do in those situations, especially us as people. You have to ask those people that came around them. Because when you see it, you could tell it wasn't that by you seeing how people hold them to such a great honor. Right now, you know what I'm saying?
I love hearing, go ahead, my bad.
Like, me personally, I'm not for gangs, but I know gang members, got gang member families. But the way Larry Hoover began in the beginning was different from what they tell us he was.
Yes.
And the gangster disciple thing was never a gangster disciple thing.
Right.
It was always about growth and development.
Right.
That was the whole point. It was all about protecting the neighborhood. I mean, even when you go into the Bloods and Crips, they were created to protect their neighborhood. And not against each other.
Yep.
Against the white boys that was coming in, beating them up.
I cannot remember the brother's name. It was 4 or 5 of them, and they literally told the story on how the whole idea of forming the Bloods took place. They were supposed to go down to the Boy Scouts. Mm-hmm. Their mama took them down to the Boy Scouts, and the Boy Scout director said, "We don't have no black children in the Boy Scouts." So what did them brothers do? They went back to the Slauson baseball field, hint, hint, where they hung out at all the time. Mm-hmm. And they said, damn that, we finna start our own club. Not a gang. Mm-hmm. They said we can start our own club. Mm-hmm. And that's where, and then you mix in poverty, You mix in our brothers coming back from the war and no jobs and nigga hungry. You know what I'm saying? A seduced stomach will have you. And so that we our innocence was ripped from us at a young age. And so, I mean, call me wicked, call me crazy, but I just hear sometimes about the stuff that goes off across the country with our young brothers, getting involved with capital crimes against the system. And I'm like, man, I just hope the homie get away with it. Look what you created. Pac said it, America eats its babies. Look what you create this monster and then you call them what you created them. Like, these brothers, we're so detached from how much suffering actually goes on in our neighborhoods, man. We go home and now we shut the door. We don't realize some of our people don't ever go to sleep. The stress is that intense, And sometimes jail and prison is the only time our brothers get to rest and eat. And it get that, black politics is responsible for that because it perpetuates the cycle. So
some real stuff there, man. But we ain't gonna be too long today, man. I think this is a topic we'll continue to discuss and go over as we have different guests on. I think this is gonna be a theme because it affects everything that we do, everything, our everyday life, man. So, everything that we do, everywhere we go, it's there. We see this stuff. It's a continual thing.
It's right in front of us. We don't realize how. When you go out to eat and you don't see your kind operating that business, that's black politics at its worst. You know what I'm saying?
Just on that note, real quick, my bad. That's one of the reasons I was so I was fascinated with Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I went to go visit my cousin there about 2 years ago, and it was crazy because she lived in what you would consider a suburb or high class area, but everything was black. Like we went to IHOP for breakfast. I mean, everybody in there black. We went to the movies, black. We went to Six Flags, black. Like, I was in shock. Like, I felt like I was in a whole different country. Like, man, wait a minute. Ain't no white folks around here?
Right.
And then really, you ain't seen nothing. And it blew my mind. I was like, I think this is what we're supposed to be doing right here.
And even as fascinating as it is, you're absolutely right. It's still an illusion. It's an illusion. It's like, who's the hottest comic? You know what I mean? Well, whoever it is, it's who they allowed to be the hottest comic. It ain't by happen chance. It's by design. You know what I'm saying? So you go to places like Atlanta, and it's booming. Chocolate City. We operate everything, but we don't run and control nothing. Those fake Khazarian Jews said it. They don't care who is in power, as long as they control the money. Because they can get Negroes to be worse than crackers any day. You pay them enough. You pay a black man enough, he will kill a black man. Hence hip hop. Hence Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? His right hand man.
You know what's crazy? I got a thing, like I said, the worst I've been treated has been by a black man. And best I've been treated has been by a white man.
Yeah, man.
Sad.
Facts.
Sad, bro.
That's the rule of war. You don't know who to trust. You know what I mean? You really don't know who to trust. So it's important to, stay in your own lane, get all the information, and just know that the ones that I experienced that personally, the ones that come to you and want to be the closest to you, them the ones that are assigned to watch you. But you gotta know how much of a threat you are first. You gotta know the potential that lies dormant in you. If you don't realize that, then it look like, this person is trying to be my friend and I should make this acquaintance. But in reality, they're designed to, monitor you, man, and water you down. It's funny what people say to you when you start hitting your max. Some folks you just gotta listen to what people say when they say it, because it's meant to kill your your rotation. You know what I'm saying? It slow you down to where
stuff like, don't forget about who helped you when you got up there, dog.
right. Or the one I love the most.
Chill out, man.
Here's the one I love the most. You can't save everybody.
Yeah, like
that comes from the mouth and the mind of
a hater,
a selfish, lazy.
Straight up hater.
You know what I'm saying? That's who ever said that I was trying to save everybody.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, that's the extreme of, not wanting to do your due diligence and be a part of change. So I don't know who you would have on this show in regards to someone who could speak about this topic, because that's the capacity that they work in. But if you didn't want me to come that day, I understand, bro.
Oh no, we definitely need that. Need that, bro.
I mean, it is election season. I think we should reach out to a few.
Yeah.
It's election time. Let's see what we can conjure up.
It's sad because they can't really.
I don't think they can have them.
They can't really do what you know what I'm saying. Like, you could ask.
Peep it out.
I ain't gonna lie, man.
So when this air, which is, I think it should air in about 3 weeks. When this air, anybody who know anybody in the political arena, or if you're a politician yourself, we want to know, how much freedom do you have in speaking? We would love to have you be a guest on our show, and let's have a conversation about some of these topics. Prove us wrong. I really would love for you to prove us wrong.
I ain't gonna happen.
I'm just being straight up. So again, y'all can email us, YouTube comment us, Facebook comment us, reach out to us on any of the Can We Talk platforms. Dad, Can We Talk? Men, Can We Talk? And we want to have that conversation.
And I being who I am and what I know and what I stand for, I'd have to take the mature upper road, because it would be looked upon as antagonizing if I asked the questions that needed to be asked, knowing they can't answer them questions no way because of the position that they hold.
This again, I state, I will want you to be candid.
We want you to. We'd like you to.
If you can be candid, we want to know, because we got questions that seem to us and to most of your people that's going to elect you, common sense. Like, why you don't do this and why you don't do that?
Dang, I might need to call this one person back. I was at work last week. I see this number call me. I'm like, who is this? So I answered the phone. The guy was like, oh, you answered the phone. I'm looking at the phone. Who the hell is this? And he was like, hi, I'm so-and-so. I forgot the guy's name.
All right.
But he was like, yeah, I'm running for a position. I was like, hey, I'm at work right now. You'll have to call me back at another time. And he was like, yeah, man, I would love to have a conversation with you. I got to go back through my phone. I think he texted me too.
That would be perfect.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we could do that.
That's suspect too, though.
I don't care.
That's suspect too, though.
Especially
you need protection, dog.
black politicians. I want to have a conversation with you.
I don't. I'm just playing.
We want to hear what you really gonna do for us. Like, what can you really accomplish? And
black or white, though?
Yeah, black or white.
Yeah.
Black or white. Right. I take that, but I want to know what you need to accomplish the things you feel you can do. And if we can help you accomplish those things, and if it's in the benefit of our people, we got you.
And it doesn't take away from what we know we should be doing, which is we, our 18-year-olds and up need to understand and comprehend what it means to be involved in local government. That's really, regardless of how much disdain I may have towards fraternity and sorority leaders who are in politics, regardless of the disdain I may have towards anybody in that position, it's our responsibility to coach these youth on learning about local politics, local government, man. That's where your power comes from.
So, y'all heard it. I'm in the next few weeks. I will be having my ears and eyes open to anyone that want to be a guest. I will be reaching out to a few people. So if you do hear this or see this, if you know of someone that you would like to come on the show, please hit one of us up and get in contact with us, because we would like to have that conversation. I think it'll be good. It'll be very good, actually. And I'm down for it.
I'm going to repeat it again. I want to make sure it's done.
Yeah.
Listen, to any politician out there, or if you know a politician, you know someone that's running for local office, we don't care about no state and federal levels. We don't care about you. We need local people running for local office. If you want, we want to know if you can be candid and really answer the questions that your people have for you. The people that's going to elect you. We want to ask you some questions, man. And for all the listeners and watchers, post your questions in the comments.
Do that.
Post them. Send them to us. So we can, if we really going to deal with it, let's deal with it. On the whole basis.
Let's get it. So, man, hey, listen, we got some stuff we got to do today. So, we going to get on up out of here. Y'all know what it is, man. This Man Can We Talk. We'll be back with more for you, man. This is just the beginning. This is only episode 4. We in this thing, man. So, y'all continue to stay tuned. Y'all continue to put the comments out there. Continue to give us feedback. If you feel like you don't agree with something that we say, man, that's cool. We don't know it all. We ain't sitting there claiming that we know everything. That ain't even our thing. We just 3 men having conversations. And I want to say this before we leave also. Man, we don't have to do all the trying to be right. We ain't trying to prove people wrong and all that. That's not what this is about. And I think the reason why a lot of men don't talk a lot of times is because we feel like we got to be right. And we're so afraid to be challenged and have someone say whatever. Like, man, when we have conversation, we're having conversation. This ain't about this person right, this person wrong. Now, sometimes you are right and sometimes you are wrong, but that's not the goal.
It's about growth.
It's about growth.
And hearing other perspectives and potentially changing your way of thinking if you think your thinking needs to be changed. And so
that's it.
And in regards to the bonus one you dropped,
the
topics that Brother Azriel and I were discussing was people. You said people were having questions, so there are resources for the things that we bring up. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm just ain't just running his mouth. I'm not just running my mouth. We read and we have literature and we back up what we say. So whenever the opportunity arises, we share those resources. Books, authors, and ISBN numbers.
So man, we good. We're willing to do that. We're willing to bring people on the show who do have questions and would like to come offer your perspective. I'm all for that, man. If you have a different perspective than ours, man, let's get it. Like, that's not one of these types of shows. We not doing that. We ain't these perfect people that know all things. That's not this. So if you feel like you have another perspective or you feel like we got something wrong, fine, that's cool, man. Let's get it in. This is Men Can We Talk. Just like when I started Dad Can We Talk, I don't know everything about fatherhood. So I said, let me bring other dads on and have them talk about their experience with fatherhood. So as men, we should be able to sit down and hear different perspectives without having to argue and fuss at each other and call each other names. We ain't gonna do none of that. We just gonna be respectful. If I hear something that you say that might be wrong or I feel like it's wrong, cool. Let's talk about that thing, man. We're gonna be grown men about it, and that's what we're gonna do. So yeah, man, we got the invitations out there. Like I said, I got some guys that's gonna be coming on in the next month or two, man. We got some good stuff. I believe some real good topics we gonna hit. So y'all continue to stay tuned. We gonna get on up out of here, man. We appreciate all the support that we receive, and y'all continue to stay up and stay encouraged, man. So any last thoughts, brothers?
Good, man. Shalom to the people, man.
That's it. Shalom to the God.
All right, we up out of here. Bang, bang.
Snipes. Low exercise. He back. It's wartime. Pain on my face, it's time to gear up. I hear they talking fly about my king, it's time to live up. They done woke up a lion, ain't no stopping when I'm stepping. It's too late now, it's rapping in my jeans, no need for guessing. You flexing, while we repping that Elohim to the fullest. Loaded clip, man, we shoot from the hip, I dare you to pull it. These bullets is encrypted with scripture, call it the truth. That'll kill a lie in a second, but it's meant to say to you. You see the murder they committing in the booth. These musical crime lords with no verifiable proof, they sterilizing the youth. You throw your life away, give all of your time away if they verify you with blue checks. You don't see it? Okay, I ain't mad at that. Pillars eyelids, that's something we do. Clear up that cataracts, snap a cap. What I'm telling you is the facts, this ain't no battle rap. Your opponent's out of your habitat. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna give it to you straight 180 degrees. Cooking these rappers, prepare my plate, I need a full course. I ain't for the hype, I'm going full force. They trying to separate, well then, it's time to pull a torch. I'm mad now, think I'm stupid, sound like my dad now. They stuff the beef to incite our demise. That's a cash cow, it's bad how we know we shouldn't eat it, but it's delicious. Then they flip it and they tell you you sick, they fed you that mad cow. Turn back to your maker the only way, cause they masked up. We wrestle with spirits, McFoley face, but it's time to shed that flesh like dead skin. Exfoliate, cleave to the ruach, get away from them people that's trying to promote the hate. It's common sense, honor him. What kind of mind you in? Protect your energy. La Mashiach to be your conduit. You a condiment, he the main dish, just mind your place, that's what I condiment. Obey and watch him. You a condiment, he the main dish, just mind your place, that's what I condiment. You gotta let it breathe. Obey and watch him. You a condiment, he the main dish, just mind your place, that's what I condiment. Obey and watch him. Look, hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished? I gotta address the people like I'm running for Senate. Listen, I'm overexhausted with brother sipping. Castrate your manhood for the box, looking like Pharaoh's henchmen. Smear the women?